Hello, welcome to the Arts Council of the Valley Artists Chat. Today we are going to interview a local artist and talk to her about her artistic work and her process. Victoria, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Viktoriya Samoylov. I am a Harrisonburg native. I live in Grottoes right now, but it's all the same area. I was born in Ukraine. I was only 2 years old when I left, but I feel like it still impacts how I see things just because I was raised in a Ukrainian household. But other than that, I just really enjoy painting bold, bright colors, and the larger scale, the better, as big as I can get it. So I think that kind of sums up most of it.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. Could you talk a little bit about your specific artistic process? Do you have any processes that you gravitate towards as an artist?
It's probably pretty basic, like a lot of people. I do get inspired by images I see, so I'll often make a little bit of a collage on my iPad of those images, and then I'll make like an artboard that has the same like proportions of what I'm going to use, and I'll usually use that as a grid to sketch out onto my canvas. I did learn that it's really fun to put like a really bright base layer on first. That way when you're coloring stuff in, if you don't color, I think that's really fun. I hope to kind of play with that a little bit more later. I do like repeated patterns and shapes, even though I generally focus on like the female form and maybe florals and stuff. I do often go back in there and I just can't help myself. I have to put like either some lines or like some leaves that repeat or something just to make it feel like myself.
That's great. Thank you. So you talked a little bit about what you draw inspiration from. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
I definitely get inspired. Like if I'm going through a gallery, the paintings that have these like thick strokes where you can actually see where the brush went through and the paint maybe didn't get like smoothed out as much, just kind of like let it go how it is. I think that's awesome. I really appreciate when an artist lets a painting be and doesn't overwork it, which I think is so hard to just let it be, because to get it right the first two strokes is so hard, and if they can do that and just let it be, it has so much texture and it's so much more fun to look at.
That's great. Thank you. And so you talked a little bit about a little bit of the technique that you use. Is there any specific other techniques that you explore in your work?
I'm not a finger painter, but I did notice when I get excited and I want to cover a thing, it's so much faster to just use your hands. And then you don't have those like smoothed out edges. You have a little bit more like thick parts and thin parts. I think that's really fun. I've definitely been able to play a little bit with like oils and acrylics. I like oils, but acrylics dry faster and I'm impatient. Another thing that's fun is being able to layer resin or glass in acrylic, because it still gives that shine and the depth, but it's like you get to play with both worlds a little bit.
Yeah, I love the mixed media that you're doing, and the text. You're talking a lot about texture, and so it'd be really cool to even feel one of your paintings, right, as you're playing along.
Yeah, it's definitely way more fun when I can even go over and like see the different types of texture that it has.
Yeah, that's great. So would you mind talking specifically about a work that you've created that you would like to share with us a little bit about the inspiration behind some of the things that you did as you were creating it, or why you even like that piece?
Sure. I think my favorite piece so far is it's like about a 3 foot by 4 foot piece. It's called Thalassophobia, which is a fun word, but it also means fear of dark water. And I think a lot of us have that. But my problem is I love water. I love the beach, but I also have a fear of dark water. So when I was making it, I was playing with resin because I think that really shows how water moves and stuff. And I was able to make it, but just seeing the piece, it felt so dark that it actually made me uncomfortable. I actually felt myself feeling the same thing that I would feel with dark water. So I decided to go ahead and add something more to it that I was comfortable with, which is more figurative. And after I did that, it felt more right. I was able to add some gold leaf to it as well, and that kind of brought some light back into it, so it wasn't so dark and scary.
Yeah, thanks for sharing a little bit about the process there and how you were personally engaged and having emotions and an embodied experience as you were creating that piece. Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about just kind of where you are right now as an artist, what you're inspired by, where you might go next, or what you're thinking about right now in 2020 as an artist and in your process?
I think like a lot of people, I thought that working remotely or having this quiet time, I would just like churn out dozens of things. And
Mhm.
it's the complete opposite. So I have signed up for like a painting class that's kind of more in depth to kind of really learn how to portray what I want in my head. Unfortunately, I haven't done much of it, but I really hope maybe as the season kind of quiets down that I'll have a little bit more time for that. Um, so I hope to really learn more how to play with light and dark with also as little strokes and as little touching of the paint as I can. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. Is there anything else you want to share with us about you as an artist, your inspiration or your art making process?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. um, it's been an interesting journey. I don't feel like I am where I want to be by any means, but I have learned that the less hard I am on myself about where I should be and what I should be doing, that the more fun I have with it. And oddly enough, people seem to connect a little more with it, even when it's imperfect or, maybe not super skilled, but people seem to connect with it more than if I overthink a piece and make it pretty or more precise. So it's been an interesting journey. Hopefully I can embrace that a little more, be more comfortable with that. But that's also like a own personal journey, artist journey for everyone, I'm sure.
Definitely, yeah. There's so much in our art making process that is personal and that personal journey. And I love how you're also sharing how audiences or others are reacting to your art. And I love to hear that many folks are really gravitating towards this art that you're also engaged with that is around you being true to yourself.
Yeah, it definitely makes you feel better and it builds your confidence just to see that you don't have to be perfect for someone to be able to connect with you.
Definitely. Well, we'll end this artist talk there. And thank you so much, Victoria, for your time and for having a chat with us today.
Sure thing. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See ya.